We've got Monday Night Football right here on ESPN. You can watch all the action. We got the New England Patriots visiting the New York Jets at MetLife Stadium. Who do you have in this game, former Patriot?
Do you think the Jets can beat the Patriots right now?
Yes. C.J. Mosley's back.
Oh, I'm just kidding. No, I just think right now, I'm not a homer. Don't call me Homer. Come on.
He picks the Giants
Come on.
every week.
Yeah, Giants. Oh, yeah, let me dance right now. What is that, salsa? Anyway, let's get back to the reality here. The Jets aren't a better team than the New England Patriots, just flat out, okay? So I don't have to be a homer to say that the New England Patriots are playing really good football right now. They're 6-0. Yes, they're traveling to New York. It's always a tough game in New York. I've always had a tough battle against the Jets. It's a good rivalry. The Jets are not going to just roll over and let the Patriots walk all over them. So it's going to be a better game than the first game because they have their quarterback back from his sickness and they're not playing a third-string quarterback now. So the Patriots are definitely going to have to play better offensively. I know that the Jets are probably licking their chops to go against the offensive line and get after Tom. But I just think that overall, you look at three phases. Defense of the Patriots is #1 in the NFL right now for a reason. They're getting after the quarterback. They're stopping the run. They're playing really good football on defense. Offensively, they're doing enough to win football games. And if you can play great defense, defense wins championships, and you can do enough and score enough points on offense, you're going to win football games. And that's what they're doing. And they're scoring on the special teams units. Block punts for touchdowns. They've done more than one this year. Scoring on defense, scooping scores. So if you can score 14 to 21 points, not on offense, you have a good chance of winning.
Not a homer at all. Not at all. He's staring you in the eye. He's staring you in the eye to his defense.
No, he's facts.
He's lucky. I agree. He's lucky.
After all that.
This week, I agree. I just think the New England Patriots are just playing at a high level. Defensively, they're #1 in the league for a reason. They get after the quarterback. Schematically, they know what they're doing in the secondary on the back end. Offensively, they're making just the right amount of plays to win. And then when you score defensively, that's always a recipe for success. So I think the New England Patriots just understand how to play. And it takes, I think the only team that kind of stands in their way in the division is Buffalo. I know the division isn't really the greatest, but that division, I think Buffalo, because of Buffalo's defense, but in this game, I got the Pats.
That's nice. I got the New York Jets.
Okay. Have fun with that pick.
The LA Rams are in Atlanta to face the struggling Atlanta Falcons at this point. So, Victor, who you got in this one?
I'm going with the Rams because of Jalen Ramsey and that new addition to the defense. Because he's there, it allows him to do a lot of different things schematically. That defense will be ready to go. Aaron Donald will definitely get to that quarterback like we know he will, and he does week in and week out. I think that Atlanta's struggling right now, and that defense is going to mix some things up, provide some different coverages, and confuse Matt Ryan a little bit. And so I got the Rams in this one.
Rob?
I'm going with Matty Ice.
Oh.
Okay, I'm going against you right now. Last week against Arizona, Matt Ryan went 30 for 36, 356 yards and 4 touchdowns. They lost by a point. I don't think that's ever happened, but I'm going to say this week he's going to continue to do well. I think that team gets their win against the Rams this week, and I just have a feeling. You got to go with that feeling, right?
Got a gut feeling.
Jalen Ramsey has never faced Julio Jones. We'll see it for the first time.
Big matchup.
On
Make sure
Sunday.
that back isn't tight.
The winless Dolphins visiting the Bills. It's like the Fitzpatrick Bowl, guys. So, Rob, let's start with you.
I'm going to go with Buffalo because I just think that Bills Mafia at home is going to be in full effect. There's going to be many tables broke and filleted fish on the grill. So I think Buffalo's defense are going to continue to play really well. We know that they're a great defense. And Miami they're struggling. They're going to continue to struggle. They don't know what quarterback they're going to play. They're looking to trade everyone that they have. So I'm going Buffalo.
Yeah, I'm looking Bills Mafia as well. I think Miami's definitely in a position where they're in flux. They're trying to figure out who they are. They're trying to, get their quarterback situation together. And I just think the Bills defense is going to come after them early and often.
Oh, that secondary is hungry. They love being called elite. That's what they're certainly striving for. We'll see what they do on Sunday. The Jacksonville Jags visit the winless Cincinnati Bengals. Victor, starting with you. Who do you have in this matchup?
I'm going with Jacksonville. I think that defense gets after the quarterback pretty well, but I think Gardner Minshew kind of gets off the snide, gets back on track, I think they're going to put a good game plan together for him to be successful, and they got to run the football. And I think they're going to run the football well, provide that balance that Gardner Minshew is going to need in order to drive the ball downfield and be successful.
I got to go Jacksonville as well. Maybe there's addition by subtraction. Maybe that defense is actually better because they don't have the distraction. And last week playing the Saints, it was a tight game, only scored 6 points. I think that's going to be a little bit different this week. Minshew gets back on track, starts to get a little bit more rhythm, more running the football, a little more forward net. Pound the rock, old school football. Jacksonville wins.
I would just like to see the Bengals have that defense that they had against the Seahawks early in the season where we thought maybe they're going to be good. Not sure, though. The Detroit Lions, coming off just a heartbreaker on Monday Night Football against the Green Bay Packers, face the Minnesota Vikings. So, Rob, I'll start with you there. Who you got?
I'm going to go with my old coach, Matty P, and the Detroit Lions. I think a lot of people are surprised at how well the Lions are playing right now. The offense is clicking. Matt Stafford's playing really well. He's a great quarterback. I think one of the top 5, if you ask me, the top 5 elite quarterbacks, he's definitely in the mix there. Defensively, they've had some issues a little bit. We saw the Trey Flowers flag for not touching anyone's face. I think that's a little ridiculous. But moving on from that, I think Detroit, they win this football game. It's going to be a tough environment for the Vikings to go play in.
Yeah, I agree. I'm going with Detroit as well. I just feel like Matthew Stafford is just playing at a high level right now. And he's got a ton of weapons to throw the football to. And I think that experience, along with those playmakers, will pay dividends for the Detroit Lions, and they win the ball game.
Stephon Diggs, Adam Thielen, shaking their heads at both of you right now.
Okay.
The Oakland Raiders coming off their bye week, facing Aaron Rodgers and the Green Bay Packers. Victor, who do you have here?
Well, I got Green Bay in this one. I just think, I know they're not brothers, but their both last name starts with Smith, so they might as well be related, right? I think those Smith guys on the defensive line will just get after the quarterback. They understand exactly what it takes. Those guys are nasty. Those guys are fierce. Oh, by the way, Aaron Rodgers plays quarterback for that team as well. So I think that team will be ready to go. They're coming off a big win, a big division win in Detroit a week ago, and they'll be ready to go this week.
And I'm going to concur. I think Green Bay is going to win this game. But I think it's going to have to be running the football, stopping Oakland from running the ball. They're 8th in the NFL in rushing. If Green Bay can stop the run and put it in Carr's hands to throw the ball around the field, it's not going to work well for them. So the Smith brothers are going to have to stop the run and not just run up the field and try and get the quarterback. Because if you don't stop the run, that's when you're in trouble. But I'm going to go with Green Bay because it's hard to go against Aaron Rodgers.
And Josh Jacobs has been balling.
Yes.
Balling.
Someone doesn't have a lot of confidence in Derek Carr over here. The Houston Texans, coming off a big win against Kansas City, visit Indy to face the Colts. Victor, starting with you. Who do you have in this game?
I'm going with the Houston Texans. Look, I'm on the Deshaun Watson bandwagon. I think he understands how to play the game. I think he's taken his talents actually to another level. I think he's understanding not just how to play and how to make plays with his arms and his legs, but he's understanding how to control the pace of the game and how to control time of possession, when to run the ball, when to make the big play, when to check it down, when to throw it away. I think he's starting to understand that as a quarterback in this league, and he's taking the next step from a mental perspective. So I'm going with the Houston Texans.
It's also nice when you have some protection there to actually play the position.
Correct.
Rob.
Get off that train. Get on the Brissett train.
Man.
I'm just saying.
Okay.
So
Toot, toot.
when I see the Colts, I see a great defense. And I don't think they're getting as much credit as they should receive. When you watch them against Kansas City, they put a lot of pressure on Mahomes. They're able to get to him. So I think the Colts win this game. It's going to be close. It's not going to be a blowout by any means.
Yeah.
But maybe 3 points, maybe a field goal. But I'm definitely going to go with the Colts at home because I know how those fans are. I know how crazy it gets. So I'm going Indianapolis over the Texans.
Rematch of last year's playoff game, too. Remember, Texans got bounced.
Very true.
It's going to be a battle of the young quarterbacks with Arizona visiting New York. We got the Cardinals taking on the New York Giants at MetLife. Who do you got?
Yeah, I'm going with my Giants here, man. I think we get some guys back. Obviously, Saquon hopefully can return and be back to form. And Sterling Shepard, Evan Ingram, they get a lot of those playmakers back in the fold, back in the mix, getting them the football. Obviously, got to put a game plan together to get everyone the football and get everyone involved, because it's gonna take all hands on deck for now and moving forward for the New York Giants. So I'm going with the Giants in this one over the Cardinals.
You think the Cardinals can do this?
Nope. I'm going to go with the Giants. It's a long travel day. They have to go across the country. Arizona, I think defensively they struggled a little bit. We've seen that last week against the Falcons. Matt Ryan was able to throw all over the place on them, 4 touchdowns through the air. So I just think that this kind of sets up well for the Giants. They have some of their weapons coming back, especially Barkley's back. Ankle, even if it's taped up a little bit extra, I think he's going to be able to carry a little bit of the load there. So I got to go with the Giants, even though I'm not.
Don't make that face, Rob.
Hey, I'm going with the Giants, okay?
Okay, there we go.
Happy?
I'll take that.
Kyler Murray versus Daniel Jones.
Oof.
San Francisco head coach Kyle Shanahan returns to Washington, D.C., where he spends years as the offensive coordinator. Niners versus Redskins. Victor.
Well, good thing he's on the right side of it this time, because the 49ers are going to win this game. I just think defensively they're just going to be too much for the Washington Redskins. The Redskins come in just mentally beat up, losing their coach. Obviously the issues at quarterback of just who's going to start, who's going to be the guy, who isn't the guy. I just think the 49ers come in ready. I think Jimmy G understands how to play the game, play quarterback. I think he's going to get the ball to all those weapons. But defensively is where the change and the game breaker is for me, and I think the 49ers have the edge in that regard.
Look, there's a lot of stuff going on in Washington, and the Redskins aren't one of them. They're not making it happen in Washington. So, I just think that you look at the 49ers, Jimmy G, he's playing well. He's not playing terrific, but he's playing good football. He understands they're running the football well. They're able to do that. If you could run the football, everyone wants to go into the spread and throw the ball everywhere. If you can run the football and play great defense, you control the clock. If you can control the clock, you control the tempo. If you can do that, you win a lot of football games. So I think the 49ers with the defense and Jimmy G understanding, how do I control the tempo of this game? We run the football, play action pass, we win.
Jimmy G versus Case Keenum. Maybe we'll see a little Dwayne Haskins. Who knows? Bill Callahan coaching in his second game there in Washington. Drew Brees still is not back. It's Teddy Bridgewater's team. The New Orleans Saints visit the Chicago Bears. So, Victor, can Teddy do it again?
I think he can. And I think Teddy, along with obviously Sean Payton, they're going to come up with a game plan to win. And it's not going to be pretty all the time. It's not going to be 38, 42 points. Sometimes it's gritty, it's hard-nosed, and you got to fight. And I think that's where they're at right now. And they're winning games that aren't pretty because that defense knows how to get to the quarterback and stop the run. And they just know how to play games, and they know how to win. And I think Sean Payton understands that. So Teddy Bridgewater and the New Orleans Saints get the victory.
I think Bob Swirsky and the Bears are going to go down versus the Saints. The Who Dat Nation. They're going to go up to Chicago.
Travel there, yep.
It's going to be a low-scoring game. I just feel like both offenses are going to have a little bit, almost similar to the Jacksonville game, the Saints-Jacksonville game. Offense isn't as powerful or potent as we would expect. The Bears, we all know they're struggling with quarterback issue. Defense has played really well, but I just think that the Saints, with the Drew Brees injury, have come together and just formed a great relationship, and they're a team now. They're playing as a team. All 3 phases are playing really well. Defense is playing great. Offense, they're able to function at a high level without a Hall of Fame quarterback, which is very impressive. If you ask anybody if the Saints were going to go undefeated after Drew Brees got injured, they'd have said you're nuts. But they've done it, and I just think that some of the issues that the Chicago Bears are trying to deal with right now, it's going to be tough not having the quarterback and the offensive production to beat the Saints, especially if the Saints are playing well on defense.
The Saints are sound, I think is the best way to put it. It's the Earl Thomas Bowl. The Baltimore Ravens head out to Seattle to face the Seahawks. Rob, I want to start with you here. Who do you have in this one?
It's hard to pick against Russell Wilson, especially at home. I just think that, look, right now they're kind of finding and knowing that, look, if we run the football, control the time of possession, set up our play action pass, play great defense, we can win a lot of football games. And they're doing that right now. When you watch them the last 2 weeks, they've been running the ball successfully. Their offensive line is doing a good job protecting Russell Wilson, and Russell Wilson is managing the game really well. So I just think it's going to be tough for the Ravens to go across the country with a young quarterback and go into their house and beat them. So I think it's going to be a close game. It's not going to be a blowout. The Seattle's not going to just destroy the Ravens, but I think they come out on top in this game.
I agree with you, Rob. I just love Russell Wilson. He's my pick for MVP right now. If the season ended, he's the MVP of the entire NFL. And I think he just understands what it takes to win. And I think he doesn't always make the flashiest plays. He just does what he has to do to win the ball game. And I think Russell Wilson and that wide receiving core and all the weapons that he has, they understand how to win, and they'll win this ball game.
All right, and the 12th man, as you say, it's always a factor when you play in Seattle. It is so
Very
loud. I know. I have a headache still. I think we all knew it was going to happen. It was just a matter of when. When would Tennessee switch quarterbacks from Marcus Mariota to Ryan Tannehill? And now we know Ryan Tannehill starting under center facing the Chargers. So in this game, starting with you, Victor, who do you have?
Well, I'm going with the Chargers in this one. I just think that whenever the opposing team is changing quarterbacks halfway through the season, it just provides some influx, and it just doesn't have you flowing smoothly. So I'm going with the Chargers here, obviously a veteran quarterback. I know they've been up and down all season long and have some close games and couldn't quite get over the hump. But I think Phillip Rivers finds his swagger in this one. I think Melvin Gordon finds his swagger in this one, and I think Phillip Rivers ends up being the victor, and the Chargers collectively get the win.
Rob, you think Ryan Tannehill can give this offense a spark?
I do. I think the Titans win this football game. I was working the preseason games. I was able to see him in practice, some of the throws that he was making. He's a good pocket quarterback. He can make all the throws. He's accurate. And I think Mariota's been struggling a little bit. We know that he's the RPO and all the different things that go into that offense. Now they can just completely move on and say, look, we got a pocket quarterback. We're going to run the football with our running game. We're going to run the screen, get our screen game going to D-Lou, and we're going to throw the football down the field with a quarterback that we know is going to be in the pocket. So I think that Tannehill gives you the best option to run a pro-style offense.
An anemic offense of the last few weeks, too. We'll see if he actually gives that team a spark. We've got Sunday night football. The Philadelphia Eagles visit the Dallas Cowboys at the Star. Rob, who are you taking here?
I got to go with the Philadelphia Eagles. I just think that when you look at the injuries that the Dallas Cowboys up front are dealing with, Collins and Smith, you're one of your two best players on the offensive line. Smith, I've played against him, is a complete animal. If you don't have him in the game, in the lineup, Dak is taking too much pressure. His timing is off. They're not running the ball. I think them playing the Jets last week, you saw some of those issues with running the football, timing. Dak was getting hit a little bit too much. I'm not taking any credit away from the Jets. I think they played a great home game and they had a great game plan. But I just think that Philadelphia is playing – they're not playing their best football, but I think they're playing better football than what the Dallas Cowboys are playing at right now.
Yeah, I agree with that as well. I'm going with the Philadelphia Eagles. I think the game plan has been brought up and understood on how to beat the Cowboys. I think you make Dak Prescott play the position of quarterback and put it all on him to make every throw, make every pass, make every decision. And I think because of that, they haven't done so well in the past few weeks. And I think Philadelphia comes in, like you said, Rob, not playing the best brand of football right now, but playing better than the Dallas Cowboys. So I'm going with Philly.
And remember, these two teams fighting for first place in the NFC East right now.
Thank you for watching ESPN on YouTube. For more sports and analysis, download the ESPN app. And for live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN Plus.